There we go. There's one. Oh my God, that's such a fun bite. Couple of buddies with them. We are out offshore today, guys, doing a little bit of unconventional smallmouth fishing, I would say. And that is burning a DT20 on the bottom. Not really what you would call crankbait conditions, but having something fast moving that's banging away on those rocks, it seems to just trigger these smallmouth and they cannot resist it. Good little starter fish. We're only fishing this thing in about, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 15 feet of water. So as soon as that thing makes contact with a rock, makes an erratic motion down there, and that's when it triggers a bite. So it's a whole bunch of fish down there. Once you get these things fired up, you just got to keep plugging away and they'll keep biting as long as you keep them entertained. Just like with any offshore fishing, I'm always going to be keeping an eye on my electronics. In this case, you know, with a crankbait, I'm not necessarily trying to target individual fish that I see on my graph or on my forward-facing sonar. 360 is what really comes into play when fishing this way. It gives me the right detail to put together a pattern for sure, but also give me high percentage areas to cast at. It also allows me to see things off to my side that maybe I didn't see on my Mega Live. So I'm really not missing anything. We see a couple of big boulders out here. We go up to the Mega Live and you can see, here's our rock, but these little nicks on top of the rock, those are all fish. I'm gonna cast out. We're gonna do this in one quick swoop here, no cuts. You guys are gonna watch these fish come up. Watch that. See them all? Look at that. Isn't that insane? On. Look at that. That's so cool. You have to utilize both pieces of the technology if you got it on your boat. I just dumped that one, but oh, back on. Back on. If you only got one, you can certainly do this, but if you got both of them, keeping an eye on both pieces of technology. It helps me for sure. It just paints a picture of what's down there. Do I absolutely need it to catch fish? No, but if it gets me one or two more bites and I have it at my disposal, yeah, I'm gonna utilize it for sure. Little guy, but you get the big picture there. There's plenty of them down there. Edges or transitions where rock and mud meet, high percentage areas where I feel like a smallmouth will be sitting and waiting to feed up. So 360 just paints a beautiful picture, especially on these shield lakes, of those high percentage areas. There we go. There we go. That one looks big. Coming up. That's a nice one. Burn and stop, burn and stop. I'm definitely changing my cadence a lot. As soon as I make contact with the bottom, I'll give it a quick stop or a quick rip. Once they're supercharged up, it seems like those erratic motions really are what trigger you into getting a bite. Nice, beautiful smallmouth. I know that they get a heck of a lot bigger in here, but it is just too much fun. So like I said, we are not in 20 feet of water, but keeping this thing down, that's really, really important to me. And getting something down quickly too, that's what this DT20 allows me to do. I'm obviously making as far of a cast as possible. This bait gets down a heck of a lot faster than, let's say, you know, a DT10. I like a buoyant bait for this tactic for sure. This DT is obviously balsa. That does a couple different things. Number one, that bait floating up, it kind of lets the fish key in on the bait. Number two, if it was to get hung up at all, it's backing itself out of the rocks. Just another additive to fishing clean. Because I'm burning this thing so fast, I feel like the setup that you're throwing this bait on is equally as important. That means having a little bit more limber rod. This is a 7.4 medium heavy, but it's a glass. So as you guys can see here, really parabolic. I'm reeling that thing so fast that when one eats it, I need to give it a little bit because I don't want to be ripping out those trebles through its mouth. So having a nice and parabolic rod, I feel like on the initial hook set, it really pins those fish. Higher gear ratio reel, so a little bit different than what you might usually throw a crankbait on. And then I'm throwing this on 17-pound fluorocarbon, so much heavier than what I would do if I was, you know, cranking a ledge or anything like that. 17-pound fluorocarbon around, because I'm banging this into rock so much, your line's just naturally gonna get nicked up, especially when you're throwing it over ridges, and just gives me a little bit more peace of mind when I go to actually hook a fish that I'm not gonna break off. There's so many fish out there. There we go, there we go. There's a whole big school of them. Again, that parabolic rod just keeps them pinned. That's so important when dealing with this. Bring them in here. Look at that. That is how you want them to eat a crankbait. Look at how fat that fish is. Just out off of, it's a beautiful transition, mud to rock, and there's a couple of big boulders, and these guys were sitting on it. Couldn't necessarily see them on the rock, but once you cast that crankbait in there, I'm using both the 360 and the live to see that there was fish actually there. Slowed my bait down, gave it like one pop, and he cracked it. That's so awesome. I have so much confidence in a big crankbait, whether it's largemouth or smallmouth. Little unorthodox, but I promise you guys, it is an absolute time.